Hello, my wonderful, wonderful viewers. I'm sitting outside, chilling right now, listening to some music. Listening to some music on the Stefano speaker. And just doing some things outside. Just chilling outside. And I just thought I'd just make a quick video out here. I love you all so much. I can't thank you enough. I thought I would do just a fun random facts video, whatever pops in my head at the moment. So let's start out with some science information. Do you know the 4 basic components of human DNA? That is adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. If you'd like to try to answer these questions, you can pause the video and try to answer them. But what shape is human DNA? The correct answer is a double helix. The human DNA is shaped like a double helix ladder, which you probably already know that, but the double helix theory, something you might not know or be aware of, was first proposed. It was a hypothesis proposed by 2 scientists, Watson and Crick. And no one believed them. No one believed Watson and Crick that the DNA, that you could figure out what DNA was shaped like. They thought, no way. But upon observing in the electron microscope, they discovered that the human DNA is, in fact, made of those 4 basic components and is shaped like a double helix ladder. And depending upon how that DNA is shaped, whether it's ATGC, AGG, TC, ZA, it could be whatever. However it's shaped determines your genetics and the various genetic factors of your body. Whether you're a certain personality, or whether you have your likelihood to have a certain type of cancer, or whether you are likely to have a certain illness, it's all encoded in that genetic strand that makes you you. And later, Watson and Crick, after coming up with that idea, that theory that they had, they proposed it using a scientific method. They discovered it was fact, and it was a big discovery for science. And many years ago, scientists first proposed. Now, I know when I hear scientists anymore, it's like you think of people who are just doing crazy experiments, and like Jon Stewart said one time he said, the last word ever uttered in a lab will be, it worked. Uh-oh. Because they mess so many things up with scientific experiments. It's sad. But anyway, when they proposed that, they wrote the study down, they wrote their hypothesis, conclusion turned out to be true, and that was the exact shape of the human DNA, as proposed, as theorized, I should say, by Watson and Crick. Another random science fact. Who is the father of modern botany? Who is the father of the modern study of plants and plant life? Like photosynthesis. And photosynthesis, if you do not know, is obviously, you probably do, is the process that plants use to convert carbon dioxide particles into oxygen. So the plants breathe in what we breathe out, and they breathe out what we breathe in, vice versa. It's a wonderful connection with nature, as long as humans don't ruin that. One fact is that talking to plants actually does help them grow, and there's a spiritual connection as well, but there's that physical connection, that breathing of your carbon onto the plant actually does help them grow. So that talking to plants thing, it's real. But back to who is the modern father of the study of plants? That would be Gregor Mendel. Gregor Mendel was a scientist that studied the genetic process and the genetic variations of plants, and he made this Venn diagram, and he made these various diagrams, and he proposed these diagrams that were used to It was the Mendel diagram that they used basically. I can't think of its name. That's one thing I can't think of. but they used it to study upon the genetic changes introduced to plants. They would introduce various changes to the genetics or DNA of the plant, and would change a flower's color, and they would figure out the probability of what likelihood it was that that plant would be a certain color or mixed colors or whatever, whether it was a red rose and mixed with a white flower, and they would mix them together. He would mix them together, and he was basically the father of modern plant science, basically, where Gregor Mendel, he modified and messed with plants to study the different various effects that these new introductions to the plants had on their genetic structure and their growth. And he would study the plant and map out the possibility or probability until he got it right of what the plants would be. And that's how they then figured out how to mix different plants together. A cool thing is tree doctoring, by the way. When you can actually put two trees together or two limbs together and tie them. I did that with that tree over there that got hit by lightning, that small crepe myrtle bush. I actually tied it together, and I doctored the tree, and it came back, it grew together. And you can actually tie them together, and they will grow. But another fact is that not only was Gregor Mendel the scientist who was pretty much the father of modern plant studies, another interesting word of the day is horticulture. If you don't know, horticulture is the study of plants, the study of gardening, and it's just gardening in general. Horticulture is gardening life. Just some quick random facts. I'm at the last of the power on the phone, and I just thought I would go ahead and do that. Just a quick video. Final thing is CERN scientists discovered what they call the God particle, or the Higgs boson particle, and officialized it starting in 2009 with a Large Hadron Collider, and discovered that the primordial soup that made the universe into existence, allowed it to exist, that holds everything together, was discovered by them officially, originally proposed by Higgs boson, and it turned out to be fact. Fun fact is it was actually put on The Simpsons before it was ever proven. Just a fun fact, because one of The Simpsons writers is actually an astrophysicist. So, fun random facts. Signing out.